right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started with our next segment. So we're going to be talking about the deliverables that are due at the Expo. And so, like I said before, for Jr.FLL we have two main deliverables. And that is the show me poster and the model. Okay? And those are two main things. You know, you have two jobs. Okay? So let's go into the show me poster just a little bit more. So the show me poster requires teams to illustrate their research and team journey. So it's not all based on their research. It is a culmination of their research and their journey. Okay? Basically, teams should share what they've learned. So whatever it is they researched, there should be like a blurb about that and what they've learned. Okay? It should have information about their team. Now this can be in a general sense, or you can break it down member by member. You can have each kid write something about themselves, whatever you want to do. And then lastly, it should elaborate on their model and the simple machine. So basically tell us how your model relates to what you researched, and tell us about the machine that you used. Okay? And the show me poster basically just helps students to present to the reviewers, because it's a lot easier to give a presentation when you have something written down that you can look back and read off of than it is to just do it cold turkey, nothing there. Additionally, it helps kids to practice formulating ideas, planning out how they're going to lay it out, and basically just with handwriting or typing, if your kids can type, you know. It just helps them to complete something and feel accomplished. All right? So these will be used during the reviewing sessions, and then it'll be like up for teams to walk around. So you may like have to present to spectators at the events, you know. So it should look good, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should look good. All right. Tell me when you're good. Cool. Okay, so above all else, and I'll emphasize this again, your show me poster should have three things covered. Okay, and that is the topic that you researched. What did you learn about it? Who did you go to? What kind of research did you conduct? Did you go to a waste disposal place and take pictures with the CEO? You know, it can be written, it can be drawn, you can have pictures, whatever. Just show us what you researched and how you researched it and what you learned. All right, it should also have information about the team and its members. You okay, buddy? So it should have information about the team and its members. So that introduce your team. What's your team's name? How many members? What ages are you guys in? What are your members' names? What do you all like to do in your spare time? You know, just some basic info about the team that helps us get to know your team. And lastly, it should include an explanation about the simple machine used in the model and how it works. So we want to know about the model that the team's built. We want to know how it relates to what they researched. We want to know how they came up with their simple machine. What is their simple machine? How does their simple machine work? You know, it doesn't have to be super technical. They don't have to have like mathematical formulas and figure out how many newtons it takes to lift the payload, okay? But we want them to have a basic understanding of how the model works. So they should be able to be like, well, this gear turns the little gear, which then turns the axle, which spins the wheel, which makes the car move, you know? Just super basic understanding of mechanical machinery. So what are you going to need for the show me poster? Basically what you would need for a research poster, okay? So we recommend that you use a trifold poster. However, a flat poster board is fine too. The trifold is just easier because then it can stand on its own. If you use a flat poster board, make sure that you have something that can hold it up, because usually at the events, the posters are either to the side or behind the models. So trifold posters tend to work better, but I'll leave it to your discretion about what you want to use. You'll need markers, you'll need photographs of the team working or meeting with people within the community or presenting. You'll need tape, probably. If your team draws a schematic of their machine or a drawing of them meeting people or whatever, you can include that. It can be handwritten, especially if your kids don't know how to type. That's fine. We like that. I personally favor that because I think it's super cute when they have it like chicken scratch and you can barely read it and you're like, what does this say? It does not look like what it says. I like that. I think it makes it more personable because, then the kids did it and they had fun with it. We can have stickers. I've seen like great ones that had like awesome Transformers stickers on them, and it was pretty awesome. I don't know what it was related to the theme, but stickers. So it could just be whatever you want. Okay, it's not like a concrete research poster. It is a show me poster. So show me what makes your team individual and unique. Okay, so during the whole process of making the show me poster, everybody on the team should be involved. So everybody should have something to do with the poster. Everybody should have a piece of handwriting, or they should have some part in the decision-making process while creating the poster. All right, and again, it needs to include topics studied, general information about the team, and basic knowledge about the simple machinery. Every student on the team should be able to describe what was researched. General information about the team and basic knowledge about the simple machinery. Okay, there's 6 kids, so it's usually not super hard, but just gotta emphasize it. Okay, so at the Expos, the Show Me poster is used to present to the reviewers, and I sound like a broken record, but it's what it's used for. And it helps the teams to remember what they've learned, because sometimes kids are shy and they like blank out and you're like, you did all this work and you can't even tell me anything because you just blanked out. This kind of helps them with that, And it's super just very loosey-goosey, very mellow, very go with the flow, because that's how Jr.FLL is. We're very go with the flow. Usually this is how the model and the Show Me poster will be set up. So you'll see the poster back here and the model in front. That's typically how it goes, just because that is the most space efficient way. If you have a more expansive venue, sometimes you'll have the poster to the side. But if you have like a particularly tall model, maybe you want to think about the placement of where you're putting important information. Maybe not put it like directly behind where it'll be covered by the model. That's just a suggestion. It's not a rule that you have to follow. But that's typically how it's set up at events. So just keep that in mind when your kids are making stuff. And here is an excellent example, like probably the best I've seen, of a Show Me poster. Okay, so it shows a little bit about their team. So you see right away that the team's name is Robo Thunder. You see that they have all of the team members here. They have their coach over here and a little blurb written about him. They have progress about how the team researched stuff. If I remember correctly, this was the natural disaster themed year. And so they, of course, researched thunderstorms. Okay. And so it has some of their research here. It has pictures of the team working and interviewing people. It has their simple machine was gears and how they interact with each other. So it has a diagram of how gears work. It has the different stages of building the model. That's a really good example of the Show Me poster. And it's really not complex. You see, like it's not like a fancy printed one at Office Depot that you would use for like a grad, demonstration. It's built by kids, Here's another example, and this one is a little bit more polished. This team was older, so it was mostly 9-year-olds, so they could use the computer a little bit more efficiently than 6-year-olds. So it's a little bit more complex, and you can even see that in their model. They built a whole windmill. Okay, who does that? But it pertains to this again. So they're talking about wind and using it to create energy. Okay, and again, you see the basic things. You see the team being introduced here. Powering their lives was their topic. And you see just a little bit about their research, and their simple machine is right here. You see how they broke down how a windmill works and how it generates energy. Now, obviously, the Lego does not generate energy from the wind. It's a Lego model, but it's related. Okay, and I don't think this other one had a model in front of it. No, it didn't. So it's just related. That's all it has to be, is related. Okay, and this is another great example. Okay, this was mostly 6-year-olds, and you can tell, and it's beautiful, right? I mean, don't you look at that and want to put it in the Louvre or something? It's great. Okay, and they learn. Okay, it's written by hand. You can see that they have gears here, and the wheel moves, or the wheels move, and they explain how the wheels move. It has about their team. There's a lovely team picture there. There is a grandma. I don't know. Can't quite see that. Well, there is a grandparent there. They have pictures about what they researched. You see curiosity there. You see all of the team members and all of them working. You know, this is a great poster. And each one is unique. So I think all of these are successful posters. So it's really just dependent on the age level of your students and really how involved you want to go into it. So again, if you have older kids, push them to make a more sophisticated poster. If you have younger kids, have them make whatever they can make, you know. So basically, let the team drive how they want to design the poster. If they want to put a flying unicorn on their poster, let them, but try to make them tie it back into the theme. So have them kind of find a way to relate it. And if they can't, then, I don't know, maybe not have it. But if they want to, whatever. Reviewers appreciate posters of all shapes and forms. If it has scribbles, great. If it doesn't, great. We want to push the students to use academic language just so that they're used to it. You know, so expose them to different words that are used within the industry or within the research that they conducted, and teach them how to use it appropriately, you know, push them to learn. This is a learning activity, so, you know, and it should be fun. It should be fun. Everything about this should be fun. This is a very fun program, So do we have any questions about the Show Me poster? Pretty straightforward. You guys, like new coaches, do you feel less like worried about it?
I was never worried about the poster.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think the poster's pretty fun.
The poster, yeah, I can totally get the poster.
Yeah.
We can totally.
Okay. So then let's go into the second deliverable, and that's the model. And I think overall, people overcomplicate the model and how difficult it is to complete, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, it has to have a simple machine, and they get scared by that term. A simple machine is anything that is motorized and moves. If you stick an axle into the motor and hook the motor up to a battery, you have a simple machine. If you put a pulley on there, you have a simple machine. If you have a lever on there, you have a simple machine. Really not hard. You don't have to have an engineering degree, although that does help. Does help. So basically, the model is a physical representation of what the team researched. So it should tie into their research in some way, shape, or form. Okay? It doesn't have to be exactly what they researched, but it should be related. Okay? It's based off of the challenge theme, and it has to incorporate a simple machine. Yes?
I have a question. This picture's been in there a couple times, but I thought by the guidelines, all the components had to be on that board, nothing could be off to the side.
Yeah, so if you notice, this actually tucks into a garage. So it starts like that, but this is like a moving car because it has its own separate battery, so it drives out.
So if their model goes off during the presentation,
I'm not going to penalize them if they want to do that.
Now when they get into the older team, the 9 to 12 or 13 or even above, does that become more of a strict guideline?
Well, they don't do a model when they... Yes. So at that point, yeah, you do have to follow the rules more, but Jr.FLL has no rules because it is non-competitive and everybody's a winner and we have fun. So the only rule that we have to like super adhere to is you have to use Lego pieces. So if you show up with like cardboard stuck to your model, penalty. But if your model, if they can make a car and it drives around the model, I'm going to be more excited about that than I will be concerned, so, yeah. Okay, so it should, again, only incorporate Lego elements. It is called Junior First Lego League, not Junior First Knockoff Lego League, okay? So any Lego element that you have. So if you have like those Ninjago sets at home and your kid really wants to put that minifigure on there, you let them, because that is a Lego element. But if you have rubber bands at home and they are not Lego, don't use them because they are not Lego. Because Lego sells really expensive rubber bands that are Lego. So you have to use those. Yes?
For parts that you need and can't find, what do you recommend? I found a site called Bricklink. That's been one of my most frustrating things is with Lego, if I find the piece that I need and want, it's going to hit $180.
Yeah, so what I recommend is using, like, there's a whole bunch of the creator ones that are like model trains and cars, and these are super helpful because they'll have like wheels and axles and random parts that are usually not available in the standard like Batman kit that comes at Walmart.
You can buy wheels and axles.
You can do that too.
And other, I guess, more
Like specific ones. So I've actually found that Amazon usually has some decent stuff. So like I'll get like a lot of minifigures, or like they have Lego chain there. You can look on Amazon. That's a decent spot. Other than that, I mean, it's not. You can go to the Lego store, but that's a bit far for us. Just yes.
You want to show that to the camera?
Oh, sorry. I forget that. I'm really not a fan of this live streaming stuff. I'm kidding, I like it. Okay, so the question was, where can we get more specific stuff for the model? And you can buy kits and stuff. Is it this camera or that one?
Both. I did.
Okay, well I'm closer to this one. So it's like this one or Amazon. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you guys have any other like resources for buying specific kit stuff.
I have a question about the model.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
There's 3 separate Expos, and our group has made their board and their model for Expo 1 on December 12th. If they decide they want to change their model,
Have at it.
so do most teams change their model from Expo to Expo?
Yeah, they're kids. They make really wishy-washy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the question was that if we have one Expo and you have the model for that, and then you have another Expo that you're registered for like a month later, can you change the model? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can change the model. You can continue innovating and create. You can add on to it. You can tear it down and restart it completely. You just have to have a model by the time that you get to the Expo, so don't tear it down to the point where it's like not buildable for the next one, you know. But yeah, you can change it. You can, you know, design is an iterative process, and if they want to make multiple iterations, have at it. Yeah. Any other questions so far? No? Okay.
Okay, I have a separate question, sorry for something else when I found this. About the poster,
Yes.
I was clear on the dimensions because I remembered in here it says exactly how big it needs to be.
Yeah, it's like
Then it
28 by
says
22.
team name, 22 inches by 28 inches. And we talk about our team and.
Oh, no. So that's if you use a flat board, and it really doesn't have to, like, it's.
Oh.
That's if you go with a trifold, that is the maximum dimension that you can use for the trifold. But if you go with a flat board, that is how they recommend. Oh, do I have to repeat that question? Okay. So the question was, there's dimensions written out in the challenge documents about the sizes of the Show Me posters. And those are just general guidelines for the material to be used. So if you have like a trifold poster, it'll be 22 by 28. And then if you have a flat poster, it'll be whatever dimensions those are. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so for the model materials, you will need one of these, and this is a 15 by 15 base. It's like $15, I think. So it's kind of cheap-ish compared to like other stuff. But you will need this, or you can make like a wooden box and tile a whole bunch of little ones together. That's an option too. I mean, it gets a little bit harder. I would recommend just buying the big one because sometimes it's hard to get like the pieces to fit all together. So it's easier if you have the big one, okay? Now, I'm going to make a recommendation because I spent all of yesterday, and I'm a little bit salty about this, okay, so sorry. But I spent all of yesterday making a mock model for you guys. It was so cool, okay? It had like a little, what are those called now? Merry-go-round, okay, and it had minifigures stuck to it, and it's like was going in a circle, and it was pretty cool, and it had sensors. And then I was moving it to my car this morning, and I dropped it, okay? So I'm gonna make a recommendation that you make a wooden box, okay? And you stick this in the wooden box, okay? And then when you get to the event, you slide it out of the wooden box, and then bam, you're done, okay? But for transport, this is really flimsy, and I learned that this morning. What? I was not on my people mover. I was actually trying to get out of my bedroom, and it was just not cooperating. It was just, yeah. I'm not. I did it because I thought that it would survive, because I thought I had built it correctly, but it apparently did not. So I recommend having a method of transportation for that, because that is super flimsy, and I learned that. So learn from my mistakes, people. Yeah. So have something to carry it, I would say. I'm probably not going to penalize you if you have a box and it's a wooden box that is around it and you have it like that at the event. As far as I'm concerned, that is outside of the model dimensions and therefore is not part of your model. That's how I'm going to rule that. Okay. If they have an issue with that, they can find me.
I can add something too.
Yes.
Sometimes when you move your child's boards off your tables, last year my team would laugh because I broke their model like 5 or 6 times. So they're like, Mrs. Darden, don't move it. So maybe put the box before transporting. Just moving it off my desks into my back room and back destroyed a tornado with several different.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that also being said, don't glue the models together, because then you can't use the Legos afterward. Like, that does not make sense. Just don't do that. Just be super gentle with them. Because, like, I broke that already, and I was just shifting it on the desk. Okay, you need, at minimum, probably, the We Do Educational base, or at least motors and a battery box. So you don't need to have like all of the technical stuff. You just need motors and a battery box, probably some gears and axles, and some Legos. So if you have like a whole bunch of Lego kits at home and you want to use those, if you want to have Batman recycle, have at it. Do it. I would love to see that. And then if you do end up going with the programming package, then you'll probably need a laptop at the event, because as soon as I unplug this, it does not have a brain to, it does not have like an onboard computer to hold the programming. So as soon as I unplug it, all of your programming goes away because it is running off of the laptop and not on the actual model. So if you have programming, you're gonna need a dedicated laptop to chill with your model all day. It's just something to keep in mind, because if you are at an event and you're maybe like going around and stuff, you might not want to leave a laptop unattended at a table. For the most part, these events are pretty perfectly safe. I mean, I don't think we've had any incidents of anything.
We've never had anything get stolen that we know of. We've had people leave laptops behind.
Yeah, that is not uncommon to do.
We've
if you
had-
want to purchase one, they're for sale.
We've had equipment left behind that was fairly expensive, but we've never had anything stolen.
Yeah. So for the most part, you won't have an issue, but we're not responsible for anything that's stolen at this event, or any event. Okay, so any questions about the Lego materials so far? Cool. Okay, so in general, you'll probably need the robotics kit, and these basically are like 150 to like 186. So I approximated high, so like 186. You'll need a base plate, that's $15. You'll need a battery box, battery's not included, that's $7. You will need probably an additional motor, because most of the kits only come with one motor. So you'll probably need more than that. You will, I don't know, use any other Legos that you have at home. I'm assuming that you guys have Legos at home. If you don't, obviously you'll need to buy those. But yes?
This goes back to my original question. So if this is part of your presentation, you need, at a minimum, you'll need the Jr.FLL Robotics kit.
I used that as a super, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not used to this. Okay, so the question was, do you need the actual like base kit? So they have all of these.
No, I have the base kit, which is less than the robotics kit. And for you, when I asked you earlier today, you said it should be fine, it depends, and blah, blah, blah. And then part of the presentation says, at a minimum, we need the junior robotics kit.
I included that because this is what's being given out to the grant teams. So that's just what I included. If you have the stuff already, you can use that, and that is fine. And I still stand by that answer. But I included that information because I'm hoping that we get a lot of grants out. Yes.
I'd like to just clarify again on another bit. So I have my boys bringing in the items from many different kits, like the Ninja Turtle kit, the little pieces,
Yeah.
the garbage disposal kit, the little pieces of trash. Because those are not Lego, but they are in those kits, it is fine to put that into our trash box.
If it is a Lego kit, then that is fine. So if it is a Lego Ninja Turtles kit, that is fine. If it is a Lego Batman kit and you want to have the Batmobile on there, that is fine. As long as it is composed of Lego elements, you're good.
Because there's no Lego part, it's just tiny little pieces.
Yeah, that's so like if you like, most of the stuff is like branded. So like it'll say like Lego on the top, or it'll say Lego on the bottom, like in between there. As long as it has a Lego trademark, you're good. Yeah, because like the minifigures. Yeah, because like the minifigures don't say Lego, but they're Lego.
These things just don't attach to a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it in anything that was manufactured by Lego, you're good. Yes.
There was a Lego, like, superhero that is built with, like, almost like a skeletal structure with, like, balls, you know, that
Yeah.
on. And it's funny because I remember buying it for my son when he was much younger. And I remember it being Lego, and I even, like, described it that way, like, as a packaging, and I was like, and my son was like, that's not Lego, that's Lego. And I tell you, I looked at almost every piece, and it was like, I had to look at it with a I'm not kidding, a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
To see the Lego on the one side of the thing. I was like, I knew it was Lego.
Yeah.
But they have neat pieces
Oh yeah.
that, and that's another thing, like with kids, there's all these amazing pieces that you don't find online and are not in robot kits.
Yeah.
And so then when you're trying to find a certain piece, it's frustrating. It has to be all Lego when honestly, some things are very hard to find.
Yeah, I definitely understand
I
that.
pulled out all the,
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I mean, especially like the rubber bands that have to be Lego. But they have to be Lego because it's a Lego program. So
Do they sell larger? Like in the kits, they
Yeah.
have yellow, but you can go online and order Lego rubber bands that are larger.
as long as they're Lego.
Sir, conveyor belt using those yellow ones, doesn't have to be that short, I can actually.
Yeah, they have like red ones and blue ones that are of different sizes. And as long as they're Lego, they are fine. However, you run into issues when they're not Lego. That's all I'll say about that. Oh, I don't have this up.
I would say that the rules do seem a bit crazy and specific, but
Okay, well, he's going to say it then. Yeah, they're.
but it's just kind of a precursor to what happens in the FLL program, where it is far stricter.
Oh, yeah.
It is considered a disqualification event to not use the legal materials. So that's just kind of,
Yeah.
and that just comes from the fact that this is a Lego branded program.
Yeah. So. Okay, so any other questions about it has to be Lego?
15 different ways to ask for it.
I mean, it kills me, but I'm like, it has to be Lego. So I included some examples of some good models. You know, here's one. I just found it online. It has a motor and a battery box. So you don't need the laptop to run it. You just need the motor and the battery box. And this is a really good example of that. And you can see that the kids got really, really creative. I mean, Who uses Lego chain? Like, that's just like 9-year-olds. Okay, but still. And they actually made an arm. So this is from the Body Forward Challenge. So they mocked how your arm works. Or it's not Body Forward, it's whatever the Jr.FLL called Body Forward. Actually, I think it is called Body Forward. I don't know, they have like different names. So like Jr.FLL is Wastewise, FLL is Trash Tech. Trek.
I think up until like 3 years ago, they had the same name.
Okay, well, it's from the body themed year. So they made an arm, and it articulates, and it moves around, and it's pretty cool. Here's another example. This one is super complex. You do not have to be this complex, but if they want to go there, have at it, okay? Who are we to tell them no? And so you can see it's a house. It has what looks like a gearbox connected to a conveyor belt system that gets people into the house. It has like a little separated garage. I want to live here. That's actually kind of cool.
It kind of looks like a shed.
Yeah, look, it has like nice little bushes in the front, you know, it has like a walkway. This is a nice house, okay? But so it's just a model. It has a moving part. Bingo, they did it. They're good. Okay, here's another one. This one's a little bit more abstract, but if you can see, they made like a little man, and he turns around, and he's driven by a motor that's right here and the battery box. So again, you don't need the laptop. You have the battery box and motor, you're good. That's fine, doable. And he's just connected to that, and he just turns and moves. That's their simple machine. Their simple machine was the gearbox. Okay, so you just have a very broad range of what can be your simple machine. Here's another one that is super, super, super complex. Okay.
Those things obviously sat on the model.
Yeah. As long as it can fit into that parameter, you're good. And they have a car. They have it looks like a crane. They have a helicopter. They have like a little ambulance type thing. They have something that spins in a circle over here. They have people over here. You know, it's super complex. You don't have to get this complex, but if they want to, let them. Okay. And if I remember correctly, this one is the natural disaster themed year, and they made rescue vehicles. And this was like a little infirmary. This is where people get like treatment. This is how people would go in. That's the ambulance, or maybe that one's the ambulance. I don't know, but you know, they just ran with it. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys may or may not know how things work. Okay, coaches don't have to have all the answers, but you are the one that is most likely to Google them. Okay, so one of the great, wonderful websites that is out there that admittedly I have used for most of my stuff in college is How Stuff Works. Okay, this is a great site that it breaks down how stuff works. Okay, so if you have a question about how like a dump truck works, there's a really good chance that there's an article on How Stuff Works that'll break it down for you. And then you can help the kids learn about it. Because sometimes the language on there is maybe a little bit advanced for a 6-year-old. You can break it down for them. But this is a really great tool. They have basically everything from gearboxes to cell processes to how to make a candle, how candles are made or whatever. So that's a great resource. Additionally, there is the page on the Jr.FLL website that has a whole slew of coaches' resources, and I really recommend that you use that because people took time to figure out what you would need. Why not use it? You know, it has a whole bunch of stuff. There is also a PDF that has basic build instructions. No, I think I have it in downloads. Give me a minute. So it has like basic build instructions. I believe it's called Jr.FLL Guide to Building and Movers. And it basically just breaks down different machines and different.
What side is that on?
This is on. You know, I'll put it on the CVR website. I'll have them put it on there, because I'm not sure where it's. Enable editing.
Can you just get the title again, please?
Junior First Lego League Guide to Building and More, and this is the 7th edition. Oh, and you can't see that. I'm sorry.
Building and more.
So it's the,
Building in more.
yes. And so if you just go into this, it's like a whole book, basically. Okay?
Comes with the kit.
Yeah. And so it shows like how that works. It shows like how the different axles are used. It shows different sizes and how to like use them. So for example, like if you have this squished, if you have that like squished together, it won't work as well. So that's a really good tool, and I really recommend that you read it because a lot of people overlook it, and it has really a lot of valuable information. For example, how to use a crown gear, how to do different gear reductions. So it's really helpful, especially for the coaches who may not be as familiar with how something works or how to implement it in Lego. Because sometimes you see something that's built in the real world and you're like, okay, I get it. That's super simple to understand. But then you try to translate it into Lego, and because of the limited materials that are available by Lego, sometimes it's hard to translate that motion or that mechanical movement. This really helps with that, like a lot. Additionally, if you end up, go ahead.
Are you still on that binder of the guide?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk more about the guide?
No, I was,
I'm going to ask.
go ahead.
In the guide, there are all these different models, A, B, C, D, all these things they can build.
Mm-hmm.
And I was first thinking, okay, we research, we pick our item, we do our poster, we build. But it's recommended, I'm assuming according to the binder, to have the kids build all these different things. It's highly recommended, I would imagine.
So what I
Learn the mechanics.
Sorry. Okay. So her question was, there's a whole bunch of models inside of the kit manual that show different example models that can be built by the teams, and if that's necessary or recommended. And the answer is that, yeah, it's recommended because it helps the students familiarize themselves with building stuff and not just building for fun. Like, because there's a very big difference in sticking 2 bricks to a flat piece and calling it an airplane and making an airplane model that moves. And they're young, they might not be as familiar with that. So I would recommend going through maybe your first couple of practices and making some of the sample models so that they get familiar with how the pulley works, how the gears interact with each other, and then unleashing them on the actual model that they're gonna build. And if they wanna incorporate some of the ones that are already pre-designed in there, if they can figure out a way to turn that into something else, they can do that, that's fine. So like if they want to make a, I don't know what those machines are called, but those giant trash, it's just trash compactor. So if they want to turn this alligator into a trash compactor, okay, so they get rid of the eyes and they just make a flat piece right here, and it's a trash compactor, and they see it as a trash compactor, then it's a trash compactor. It's no longer an alligator, it's a trash compactor. Okay, so if they want to modify the models, that is perfectly okay too.
There's lessons in the book to get the team talking, get the team sharing their strengths, get the team to come up with their name.
Yeah.
It takes months if you're going to do every single
That's
lesson.
what
Yeah.
That's, I guess, what I was getting at, because I wanted, we were just worried about being ready for December, and so I'm just slowing down and backing up and make sure they learn every concept. But it's not necessarily important to do every single practice model, but cover all the concepts. Because when I first looked at it, I thought, well, crazy floor and crane, we may not necessarily build those.
Yeah.
So, and then we were doing our research, focusing more on our research.
So if you pick your research topic, okay, then you kind of have a general, like if you're just doing trash pickup systems, you kind of have a general concept of what those entail. You can select models that are pertinent to that topic and have the kids build that. You know, they don't have to build like every single thing, because that's really like a lot of time, and they might lose a lot of interest, you know, if they're having to do different models and constantly build them, tear them down, build them, tear them down. You know, they get attached to it. So pick the ones that you feel will help them most, and those are the ones that you do.
Okay, I just didn't, I don't want them to get bored, but I also didn't want to be remiss and not, because when you look at this stuff, it's kind of like, okay, you do this, and you should do this, and you should do this, and I certainly haven't followed every step. I've kind of done it my own way.
Totally okay.
And another thing, literally, there's a 100-page
Yep.
that my printer literally ran out of ink, and I didn't even get it all.
I'm surprised they didn't run out of paper.
I some of this stuff, and because I was trying to go through it on the computer,
Mhm.
and there was just so much, so I didn't have an hour to sit there and look through all of it
Yeah.
and try to pull out what I wanted. So I was like, oh, I'll just print it, obviously. I'm assuming
Yeah.
from what you've been telling us that it's not important that we follow every guideline.
It is a guideline. It is a roadmap. You don't have to take every road to get to your one destination. You can just take the most efficient one.
Great.
Yes. So any other questions about the model in general? No? Okay. So when we're actually at the expo, the model typically goes in front of the show me poster, as we mentioned before. So you don't have to build your model around what your show me poster has, but you might want to take into account how much space you'll be covering. So like you might not want to put your most important information directly behind the model at the lowest level of the show me poster where it won't be seen. You know, that doesn't mean you have to leave a big blank negative space in the silhouette of the show me poster. Just be mindful of that. And the model is usually the most fun part to present. You'll see the kids usually interacting with it and playing with it at the events, and that's totally okay. If they want to make changes at the event, that's totally fine. If they want to take off the airplane that they built and play with it and show all of their little friends that they're going to make at the event how cool the little airplane that they made was, that's fine. You know, it's a fun event. If they want to play with it, they're kids. We're going to let them play with it. Yeah. So basically, just to summarize everything that we've said, it has to be a Lego element. If it doesn't have Lego written on it, you can't use it. I'm going to, yes, I'm gonna record that. Okay, I'm gonna have a button that says it because I'm getting real tired saying it. Yes.
I have to say, in that type I was telling you about with the superhero, like almost like the big, they stand with
Yeah.
the skeleton, on the shield part that you build the Batman and the Green Lantern body, which is the Lego package, the shield part does not have Lego on it.
Yeah, but you can kind of like
And I was
tell.
like thinking, okay, so I'm just saying, it's okay if you're certain that it's Lego, and you can
If-
argue your points to the judge,
Yeah.
president, or
Keep all
whoever,
Lego packages.
that it came.
So I'm, in so many words, telling you that if it, in general, to a reasonably astute observer, looks like a Lego element, it's a Lego element. Okay?
I'm not gonna look at every brick and go, this is really.
Well, that would get super exhausting. But I mean, you need to like pay attention to it more so in FLL because I mean, we have more issues there than we do in Junior FLL. Like for example, I remember there was a team that I had to disqualify and it was like the worst feeling in the world. I hate disqualifying teams because their robot had bricks that were very clearly not Lego. They weren't the Lego scheme of colors. And they
It's
didn't
very
have Lego
obvious
on
it was
top.
Mega Blocks. It's very obvious
Yeah.
to see the other, and the refs just kind of looked at it and were like, that's not Legos. And the
Yeah.
kids really didn't even, nobody really caught
They
that
didn't
even
know.
on the team, but it's like, the rules are the rules and they're very clearly stated. It's black and white for what we have to do, and we had to zero their match scores up to that point in the day. So
Yeah.
it's
It's like
just
the
it's the
worst
type of
feeling
stuff
ever.
that we kind of have to deal with, and
Yeah.
it kind of comes from the fact it's a Lego branded program.
Yes.
Michael, with that team then, if they get to that tournament, are they still allowed to present even if their scores won't count towards that?
So what
So-
happened with the team was that
So at an
yeah.
FLO event, they do multiple matches on the table, and the highest one counts. So we effectively just said, fix it for the rest of your matches, and we just won't count the morning.
Yeah, we caught it early enough that it was not as tragic, but still, like, don't make me do that. I hate doing that. Their little faces get so sad. I can't handle that much sadness.
But if they
Okay.
show up and they can't fix it, do you guys still let them present the whole thing? They just can't be in the
Yeah.
scoring?
I would say yes. As the judge
I
advisor,
wouldn't deny them the opportunity.
yeah, I'm not gonna like deny them of the fun. I'm just gonna pull the coach aside and say, you're not gonna get any awards. Maybe don't tell the kids that, but
Go by your own ribbons.
yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, we never discussed any sort of stuff like that with the teams. We talked to the coach, and we let the
Yeah.
coach decide how to and if to tell the teams is what has happened.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share one more thing, sorry.
Go ahead.
To the boys, I want you guys to listen to. My son got a Pirates baseball kit that I thought was Lego.
Yeah.
Still in the box. Not that he didn't like it, he just didn't too busy. But I pulled it out with all the other Legos, right? And just to be aware, all the baseball, I'm pretty sure all the little baseball characters that you like, the Yankees, the kids, the Pirates, they're not Lego.
Yeah.
They're AYO or IO or AYO or something like that, which I can't think of exactly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they look so similar.
Yeah.
that I thought those little people were Lego.
Yeah.
And I honest swear to God, like yesterday, I looked at the box, I was like,
They're not.
oh, it's not.
Yeah.
So for us, it's, you got to put it back or whatever. It'd be very easy to make a mistake. I guess in junior, they're not going to handcuff you and take you out, but it's
Yeah.
easy to make that mistake and put your baseball players on, because honestly, like the grid, the baseball field is just like the
Yeah.
regular play.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're super similar.
exactly, and I'm sure once I open the box, I would see that, obviously the Lego's not on there, but like you said, every brick doesn't have Lego on it.
Yeah.
You just have to know where it came from.
Yeah.
And if he had opened it up and put it in with the other Lego,
Oh, you'd be screwed.
You can't tell them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to like pay attention to that.
They make, but that was a gift, and like I said, it was a really weird brand, and I noticed on his other little Yankee guy that he had was also that brand.
Yeah.
So they have a thing with the major leagues or whatever, and
Yeah, they
it's
have,
not
they're
Lego.
like in Target, they have like ones with like, they have the 49ers.
It's not Lego.
Yeah, I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
So I-
Yeah, no, you just want to make sure that it is Lego.
Yeah, AYO. AYO.
Yeah. You got to make sure that it's Lego, not fake Lego, knockoff Lego.
They look
it looks
almost
exactly
identical.
like
Identical.
Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe you should put something of that on your website. Honestly, like it is there. You can't, and even with the, I guess it doesn't matter with us, but for the robotics,
Yeah.
you're really gonna get disqualified. Those are.
It might be worth putting something on there.
We'll make note of it.
Yeah, we'll make note of it. I mean, it's probably worth putting on there. For the most part, we don't
Especially if
generally
you're
run
not
into issues.
disqualified. I mean, that's.
I know, it's like
all
the
that
worst
work.
feeling. It's the worst feeling. Ugh. Oh well. Okay.
Double check.
I mean, we say it a lot. We say it a lot. So like the teams should know, but sometimes some people don't pay attention. So additionally, in addition to being composed of only Lego elements, your model should be related to your research in some way, shape, or form. It has to be related to what your team did. Can't be like a flamingo that's out in the wild when you're researching trash, unless somehow you are researching how trash impacts how the flamingo is being raised or whatever. Just tie it in somehow. It's not hard. And then just include a simple machine. Make sure that you have one motorized part that is moving something. Something should move, okay? Your model should not be a statue. Something should move. And move on its own. It doesn't count if you push it. Like, that's not a simple machine. That is you moving a Lego. And then just let the kids go wild with it. Make sure to ask a lot of thought-provoking questions. So remember, you are the gutter rails. So your job is to make sure that they do not get a gutter ball. So if you want to ask a whole bunch of questions like, do you think that is the best way to do it? They can be leading questions. They're little kids, You can lead them to the answer. I recommend not giving it to them because then in the end they'll have a better experience and they'll learn more. And then just have fun with it. I mean, they should be playing with the Legos while they're learning. They really shouldn't know that they're learning. If you're doing it correctly, they should think that they're playing and then by the end of it have learned a lot, Okay, so I think we'll just take like a 5-minute break or whatever, and then we'll go into the next segment, which is actually programming and not reviewing.